Welcome to Tricky Nicky Disc Golf. Today we're going to be talking about some common cues for achieving a nose down flight. The first one we're going to be talking about is the most common, and it's probably been around the longest. It's called pouring the coffee. It involves holding the disc like normal and then using ulnar deviation to point the nose of the disc down. The second tip we're going to be talking about comes from a Nick Crush video where he supposedly solved his nose angle by adapting to a backloaded grip. Side note, we are not going to be talking about actual different grips today. However, I will be using the same grip for every one of my test throws, and that's this grip right here. So we're not going to be talking about that grip. However, we are going to be talking about backloaded grip, which looks like this. The only difference is instead of gripping with these fingers, we're going to be using most of the pressure through these fingers, gripping it with your back two fingers and the meat of your palm. His reasoning for using the backloaded grip is that gripping primarily using these two fingers uses mostly your muscles on this side of the arm and promotes easy ulnar deviation, i.e. pouring the coffee, as opposed to gripping with these fingers, which promotes using more of the muscles on this side of the arm and makes it a little bit harder to get to full ulnar deviation and kind of promotes neutral or even nose up, nose angle. Major caveat here, I've already been using the pouring the coffee with the backloaded grip technique for a little while now. So that's pretty ingrained in my form as it is now. I don't expect to see too many big differences when I go from neutral throws to focusing on pouring the coffee or using a backloaded grip. The next technique we're going to test is one I've been very hesitant to even accept as an option, let alone try in my own backhand form, because it just seems wrong to me. That technique is called turning the key. Now the idea with this cue is that as we're coming through the hit, after the power pocket, as our arm is coming out and going through the hit, the wrist starts to supinate a little bit, forcing the nose down. I'm sure turning the key has been around for a little while, but my exposure mainly comes from overthrow disc golf, especially some more recent videos that they've put out, and it makes me want to try it. So we're going to try it. I've literally never tried it before. I really don't think it's going to work, but we're going to give it a go with the tech disc and see which of these methods actually works. Enough talk. Let's bust out the tech disc. You're on the numbers.
3.5 degrees nose up. 4.1 degrees nose up. 2.6 degrees nose up. 2.5 degrees nose up. 2.6 degrees nose up.
Pouring the coffee.
.5 degrees nose up. 5.4 degrees nose up. 5.9 degrees nose up. 3.8 degrees nose up. 1.6 degrees nose up.
Backloaded grip. Pouring the coffee.
2.8 degrees nose up. 7.1 degrees nose up. 2.4 degrees nose up. 5.5 degrees nose up. 1.9 degrees nose up. 2.6 degrees nose up.
Turning the key.
0.0 degrees nose down. 0.9 degrees nose down. 0.1 degrees nose up. 4.5 degrees nose down. 2.6 degrees nose down.
All right. I was really surprised by the results of this test, obviously. So firstly, let me just say, I was wrong. Turning the key instantly and reliably allowed me to tune the nose angle down to 0 or even to the negatives. And this is literally the first time I've actually tried it out and measured it with the tech disc. So I'm really excited to play around with it a little bit more, see how I can make it work in my distance throws. I am still a little bit dubious because it seems like this would be a tricky thing to work into my throws without messing up some other arm mechanics. So it remains to be seen how effective and consistent this will be in the field. If you want to follow along with that, and stay tuned for that future video on actually using a drill suggested on overthrow and implementing this into my distance throws. Make sure you subscribe, and together we'll learn the truth as we do a deep dive into the turning the key cue in a further video. As for pouring the coffee in the backloaded grip, I'm also a little surprised, but not surprised at the same time. As I said, I've already incorporated these techniques into my normal throws. So when I did my neutral throws, I was probably unconsciously already doing those two cues a little bit. But what's more interesting is that on the sets when I was really trying to hyper focus on those cues, they didn't help at all or actually made things worse. At the end of those sets, my arm was tense and a little strained actually. So for beginners, it's probably still really useful to drill those cues until it's become an unconscious part of your form and you don't have to think about pouring the coffee every time. That way you can do it on your normal throw without actually having to think about it or tense up at all. The last point about the backloaded grip, there are more reasons to use the backloaded grip than just for achieving nose angle. In fact, nose angle might be the least important reason why you should be using this grip for certain shots. But more on that in a future video. All right, time to move on to the bonus round.
Pouring the coffee with a backloaded grip while turning the key.
.4 degrees nose down. 4.4 degrees nose down. 0.8 degrees nose up. 1.4 degrees nose up. 1.3 degrees nose up. 6.4 degrees nose down. 5.0 degrees nose down.
There you have it. The results speak for themselves. Turning the key with some pouring the coffee action helps me achieve the nose angle that I've been chasing. I'm not sure if the backloaded grip was actually contributing anything to the nose angle. However, as I said, please stay tuned because in a future video, I'll discuss when and why you should probably be using a backloaded grip anyway. Please subscribe. I still have under 100 subscribers on YouTube, so every one counts. And if you want to do your own nose angle test, the only tool on the market that allows you to measure nose angle in real time is the tech disc. If you want to buy one for yourself, why not use the affiliate link in the description or in my bio. I am not sponsored by Tech Disc, but if you buy one through the link, I get a little kickback. So if you're planning on buying one anyway, why not use the affiliate link and support me at the same time? Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Tricky.NickyDG.